Okay. Stand by. Could everybody mute, please? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing M. Night Shyamalan's Old, aka the story of what has happened to all of us over the course of doing this podcast. Slowly age right in front of your very eyes. My name's Eric. I will be leading you on this fine evening. Joining me, first up, special guest. It's been a while since he's been on. Please welcome a Bloody Good Horror OG, Mr. John Shelton.
Oh, hey there, everybody.
He of the famed tweed jacket that he wore one time and then became his calling card, because I can never forget things.
It's a
The
thing.
homeless professor. What was it? Is that what it
The
was?
homeless professor, yeah.
Yeah.
Also very excited tonight, John Shelton is going to be doing the trivia at our 2021 Halloween patron Zoom-tacular, is that what we're calling it? And we're going to talk all about that later. But first up, let's get to everybody else. Joining me next up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnars.
Eric, hello.
John,
Just to be clear, John, you had a home when we were calling you homeless professor. I think you actually had a home, right?
I mean, you know, it depends on your definition. You know,
Mhm.
it was a little
Itinerant.
dodgy there for a while, but
Itinerant might have been more
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up on the show from Richmond, Virginia, please welcome Caitlin.
Hello.
Can I get more excitement, Caitlin?
Hello.
Nice. Love
So
it.
glad to be here.
And last up tonight from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hi, everybody.
Casey, what's your video background there tonight?
It's still Earth, Wind, and Fire from when we recorded on September 20th.
Got it. How silly of me.
September, yeah.
Had no
I
idea.
just haven't changed it back.
Well, I'm really excited tonight because over the course of BGH, we've really gone on a ride, John, with this M. Night Shyamalan character. Like we've chronicled the highs and the lows and everything in between. And I guess we're going to decide where this falls on that spectrum tonight.
He's definitely one of the filmmakers that has defined our generation of film going. I mean, right? Like,
Yeah.
What? 99?
He refuses to go away, is what you're trying to say.
Look, I thought he was done several times. So.
He's
Part of the
the
twist.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's
you guys.
He's nothing if not resilient. Well, let's do it. Let's take a quick break here and discuss Old.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
John,
Yes.
I mean, with the way this hair is looking lately, let's just hope you never discover the gym, because you will take over the world. If you put some.
I mean, I do work out fairly often, but it's
Do you?
mostly running.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's a lot of.
I'm
running,
talking
actually.
like you get some like biceps going there. Like we're all in trouble.
Get yoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, if there was a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, Eric, as you proclaim, I'd be ready. But
Let's get the BGH trainer on the line. You guys have worked together before, you know?
true.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
I mean, she's buff as hell. She could get you in shape. You know?
Yeah. I just don't have the time. Let's be clear. But
Thank God for all of us, because we don't.
yeah, no. That's right. It's actually better for the world. I think what you said. So.
You can't be smart and buff, John. It's just not fair. With that said, please bring us the word of the day. Sorry, John. I'm a little horny on Maine tonight. What do we got there for the word?
Should we just
Yeah, no, you should stay. You should stay.
Okay.
John's like,
Yeah.
For
please,
my
please
safety.
stay.
Today's word, Eric, is silica.
Mm-hmm.
That's SILICA. Also commonly referred to as silicon dioxide, a hard, unreactive, colorless compound which occurs as a mineral quartz and is as a principal constituent of sandstone and other rocks.
Oh, was this sandstone
It is one of the principal parts of sand.
in the
yes.
movie? Oh, sand. Got it.
Sand.
Wow, we're getting real
Oh, no.
esoteric there.
What kind of sand or what kind of rocks are in
Right.
this movie?
Magic science
Fuck.
rocks,
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
magnets. Nobody knows.
It
about
comes
that
to us from
unobtainium?
the Latin silic, which was, I guess, had to do with flint.
word.
Flint. Mm-hmm.
Love it.
They need water.
John, what's the deal with this movie? Old.
Old. M. Night Shyamalan.
Thank you.
Did I get it?
Sure, you got the John version. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You got every syllable that's not there.
All right.
You hit the nostalgic version for BGH listeners, which is what's important.
I call him Knight. Like we're on a first name basis,
Knight.
so it's fine. We're on a middle name
I
basis.
call him Knight.
A night joint.
I mean, listen, that's a cool name.
yeah. So
It's
old.
you know what? It's a better name than the one he had. He should just be Knight.
What's his first name? I could have looked this up. I
Tim.
didn't.
It's
Well, all
Marvin.
right. It has a
Michael
period, so
Knight.
this isn't like a Ulysses S. Grant.
Manite.
Milady.
Oh no,
Yeah, and this-
that's so much work.
Knight.
all right. So old. This is based, as John called attention to, on a Swiss French language graphic novel, Sandcastle, which
Fascinating.
Knight received as a gift for Christmas, and then subsequently optioned and turned into this film. So
Huh.
that was news to me. I didn't know that.
Was
but,
there anything on that Wikipedia about what is going on with his hair? Because that's all I really want to know. I don't
or
understand it.
why he thinks he should be acting in his own films? No, neither of those things.
Another
were
great
addressed.
question.
So this is. I'll try to give you this. So the main characters here are a family of 4. They are Guy, Priska. Alex. No, sorry, Trent. No, wait. Yeah, Trent and Maddox. Yeah, Trent and Maddox.
You got that?
Those are their names, Eric. And they are on vacation. They are a family that is unraveling to a certain extent. We learned pretty early on that there's a likely separation coming or divorce. This is sort of like their last attempt to have a nice family vacation. So they're on this like very exclusive high-end resort. I mean, there's like some stuff that's going on, as with any night film. There's a lot of
It's an ensemble.
sort of there's some breadcrumbs being dropped. Yeah, I mean, there's an ensemble cast, but there's breadcrumbs that are dropped kind of early on that do become important, but like are also somewhat spoilery if you call them out now. But so this family of 4, they're on this island. They're sort of like looking for something to do, and the hotel manager comes to them and is like, "Hey, I don't share this with every guest, but there's this very exclusive beach. It's private. No, you'd have private access. It's in this cove.
Sounds like a honeypot to me, John.
I mean, look, it looked lovely, and it sounded nice. But so they go, and when they get there, they realize they're not the only ones there. There's another family of 3. There's Charles, who's sort of like an older surgeon, and then his, trophy wife. I don't know. Can I say that? Is that appropriate? I think that's sort of what the setup was here. And then they have a younger daughter. So that's kind of like the main group. They also run into this guy who's on the beach. And sorry, there's another couple where the wife has epilepsy, and then the husband is a nurse, which becomes important. So this is like this group finds himself on this island, or on this beach rather. and there's another guy there. He's a rapper, sort of musician, that they run into. He's like on the beach by himself. They don't really know what's going on, and very quickly a dead body floats up, and that sort of precipitates them all. There's some freaking out, as you would expect. And very quickly they realize they can't leave the beach. So like they try to go out the way they came, and when they do, they black out and land back on the beach. Later they realize like they can't swim off the beach. I mean, there's like they try a lot of different stuff, but they can't get off this beach. And then within the next 15, 20 minutes, really by the end of the first act, it's kind of revealed that this beach is causing them all to age really, really quickly. And so that sets up the tension for the rest of the film, which is basically
I would say they take slightly too long to realize that people are aging when their children have turned into different people, and it's like hours later they're like, "Hey y'all, beach might be making us old."
Yeah, I mean, but the thing I appreciate
P.S.
is that
No, there's no Southern people.
you
That's
wouldn't
right.
immediately go there. It's not like you'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is obviously we're all getting older,"
I mean, I guess. Considering
but
the
yeah,
things
so-
they do leap to in the movie, it seemed to take them a while on that one.
Fair. But so that's the setup, right? And that is the rest of the film. They're trying to figure out how to escape. As Eric points out, the kids effectively become the main character because like everybody else at the rate they're aging,
Because everyone's older.
some gruesome stuff starts happening.
Love it.
I get it. Some of us are older than you, others here.
Sorry,
alone.
bro.
Sorry.
Sorry. At the end, it's just going to be Caitlin trying to escape.
Yeah.
I'll be building a sandcastle.
It's Caitlin and 4 skeletons.
We will say, given four skeleton, Casey's will
We're
just be dust by then. There is a twist. This is a Shyamalan joint, so we're definitely going to be spoiling. So I would just lay that down now that you could be hearing spoilers. So tread carefully. John, as our esteemed guest tonight, what'd you think of Old, and how do you generally feel about Mr. Knight? Mr. Knight. That's what we're calling him.
I've been on a real journey. There we go.
Yeah.
It's been a real journey with M. Night because I was never a huge fan at the beginning. Back when people liked him, I wasn't that into him. The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, the ones that people really love, I was always like, they're good, but I never held him that high. And then when kind of the tide changed, I mean, well, he was making really bad movies around the time of Last Airbender, all that. Like that was undeniable garbage. Like we can all agree on that. But he's been on this like upswing, and I can't believe the degree that I've come around on him. And I kind of want to go back and revisit some of the older movies to see if maybe it's me that's changed. Not so much as M. Night. But yeah, like at this point, like kind of since The Visit, I've been on his side. I've liked his last few movies. I like where he's going. He's kind of toned down the twist, like the master of twists kind of thing. And he's just making interesting movies. He has his own distinctive style. I think that's safe to say. And this movie definitely fits in that. I mean, just to lay the cards on the table, this movie's kind of wacky. It's a little bit weird. It's an unusual movie. There's a lot of weird stuff in this movie, and a lot of stuff that I think can be it can turn you off. You could be like, what is this dialogue that's coming out of these people's mouths? Why are these people acting in very strange ways? Why how does all of this fit together? This is kind of a crazy movie.
Has M. Night met other humans and interacted with them?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean that's
valid.
kind of like one of the main takeaways. I think that's one of the through lines with all of his movies.
With
is
hair like that, I'd
he's kind of
guess
like
maybe.
an alien who's like observed humanity and like is making movies with humans.
Yeah.
And,
But is
and
also-
that very much feels like this movie. This
Is
movie
also
feels like
weirdly
weird hand
convinced,
puppets.
like an alien that is observing people, and is also weirdly convinced that he has it all figured out with zero evidence to back it up.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's like, let me
I got
teach
this. I got every
you.
problem.
Sit down and listen to what M. Night's got.
So
got
what
to
if
tell.
this dude just worked out one arm? Right? That's an M Night. That's a Night deep cut. If you know that one, you're a super fan. Caitlin, what'd you think of Old?
I really liked Old. I've always been a bit of a Shyamalan apologist. Have always really liked his movies. I was a big fan of The Village, and just kept up my love from there.
That is the Village is super interesting to me because that is the divisive one. I feel like largely there's a consensus on most of his movies. It's 50-50 on The Village, dude. Everybody, for every person I meet that like I love it, I meet people all the time who just think it's a pile of trash. And like,
what about hold on, Signs? I thought that was a pretty Signs.
I would say Signs is universally
divisive as the other one.
And are you you're in this context, you're saying The Happening is like everyone agrees
trash, hot trash. I don't think I've met a single human that likes The Happening, unironically.
Saw it in theaters, but
yeah, we did too.
Sorry,
but no, I liked this. I like a high concept movie. Once you can get into the like, all right, magic rocks, I'm in. Like, let's see where this takes us. And it was a good time. I thought the effects were pretty cool. The aging effects were done pretty well. I wasn't expecting them to be as kind of gruesome as they got. So there were some cool moments there in terms of body horror. I also thought there were some touching sort of family moments, romantic moments between, our main sort of husband and wife character, and some touching brother-sister moments, which will always get me. But yeah, there were a couple things that were a little silly, like it was a little convenient filmmaking wise to have the cave just sort of like, if you try to escape, you wake up on the beach and you don't see what happens, but you're laying down and you wake up.
They like run backwards like
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the dialogue in the first act in particular is really bad. But I'm good from there. When we get into spoilers later, Shelton had a good point about the end that I definitely agree with. But overall, a lot of fun.
Casey.
So I've usually been a Shyamalan apologist. I've enjoyed a lot of his movies, and I did like The Village or whatever it was that we were just talking. I got it confused with The Visit now because I got that in my head. He had some stinkers in there too, though. I mean, I didn't like all of his movies, and he gave me high hopes of a big comeback with The Visit, because I thought that was fantastic, and I thought it was a blast. And Split wasn't bad either, so he did pretty good. And there's been another one or two in there that probably didn't sit quite as well with me, so I've had some high hopes coming into this one. I did get something weird out of it. I don't know if it's the kind of weird I was hoping for. I felt like I was probably, where the twist went and everything, I was probably a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for something even more off the wall coming from him. But other than that, I really liked the cinematography. The body horror stuff was cool. There was some interesting stuff going on there. The dialogue and stuff, it was pretty easy for me to tune out and wait for the next good scene to go through there, and I didn't feel like I was missing that much. So
he just, I mean, the dialogue in that first act, I mean, I understand what he's trying to do, which is, it's like an efficiency of screenwriting thing. He's like, I don't want to, there's not going to be any exposition dumps, so I'm going to like cram everything that possibly needs to be conveyed to the audience into dialogue. So it just leads to these stilted conversations where the parents are like, it was so wonderful when you won that contest. And
you work in a museum. All you do is think about the past.
She literally says, I think she says that.
But there's a thing. Here it is.
I am in the museum looking at dead bodies.
Shelton nailed it.
About mortality sometimes.
Shelton nailed it, though. It's like it is a combination of this kind of weird like perspective he brings that very much feels like not human. Plus, like a lot of these actors, English is clearly their second language. So you've got people that maybe even on set wouldn't have known to be like, this sounds weird. Like you wouldn't just say this like that. You know what I mean? Or it's like they can't really adjust their delivery, and maybe nobody could say this stuff and have it sound natural. So it's what it does is give the movie a bizarre tone.
It's the writing. Yeah. In any event,
what do you think, Tom?
I am probably the most negative. I agree. This is probably like if you put all of his movies on a spectrum, this is probably further to the better end. I like The Village. If I have to like make a decision about which way I go on The Village, I haven't seen it since it was in the theater, so maybe I gotta rewatch. Yeah, it's like I struggle to get over the hump with some of the like ridiculousness. Like, I mean, we talked about it over email. I don't know if we want to make a big, but like the naming of the hip hop artist, I understand the defense, and like Shelton put up a very good fight on this. Say what it is. His name, he calls him Mid-Size Sedan. Like, I don't follow hip hop that much, but like I heard it and was like, I don't think so. Like, I just don't buy this.
It does very much sound like a middle-aged, out of touch dude trying to like come up with what a young rapper might sound like.
But okay, think of it this way: if Eminem didn't exist, and just in the new M. Night Shyamalan movie there was a rapper and he was named after a fucking chocolate candy, you would be like, okay, that's stupid, you know.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that far fetched.
All right,
I thought it was very funny. It's
more so that his character is the only black man, and he's like, damn, every few minutes that was making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like, the point that I think John, you brought up over email, that like the parts of this that work for me are the family dynamic stuff. I mean, ultimately, it's a movie about people like being forced to face aging in a like super grim and like, you know, truly scary way. Like, it makes aging scary because they're forced to deal with it in such a compressed time thing. But the kids growing up super fast was like just, you know, sucker punch for me. You know, some of that stuff was really
that didn't get me as much as the couple. That death scene on the beach got me a lot more than the kids, because the kids growing up is fucking weird. Like,
well, it is weird.
Here's the problem,
man.
Maybe you guys have thoughts on this. I felt like the narrative knot that he was in by having these kids just grow up on this beach is that you have to decide if they somehow magically think and speak like adults, even though they don't have the life experience. And in the transition, when it first starts happening, and like in the middle of the film, there's times where they seem like they're trying to act a little childlike, but not entirely. And at some point it just shifts. And by the end, they're really not at all acting childlike.
So, look, I live with a 7 and a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, but like, and the boy in this movie is supposed to be 6. And I think that's like the girl, the other girl, the non-sibling.
I feel like at the point that they were like, these two people are adults now and are going to have sex and have a baby, he had to make this decision to be like, this is weird if they don't act like adults.
Signal it. I mean, that is definitely true, but they signal, like, the kids they all have, again, in somewhat stilted dialogue, these moments where they're like, I'm feeling so many feelings.
I like that dialogue.
They're going through puberty.
I did like that dialogue.
This way. Yeah.
I like that dialogue.
So
I like
handfuls of pasta salad.
That was
to
gross.
be fair, that is how I eat pasta salad.
No, I really liked that dialogue because it was a very interesting, exactly what you're saying. It's like kids with a kid's cognition trying to understand feelings of like an older age, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, it was like, again, you can't show them going through puberty in any like visual way. So like they have to like talk about it, or they have to like act like teenagers, but they didn't have time to do that. And so they have to kind of like,
at that point in the movie, it was like, it's a little confusing in the beginning trying to figure out whose kid is whose. So at the point in the movie they were about to have sex, I was like, is this the brother and sister? I was like, I really had to take a second.
I had that problem. But the other thing, and again, you all tell me if I was like off base here, but like the boy is on the autism spectrum, right? Like that was like the implication I took away, is that like he was, you know, if I were to put it inappropriately, he was touched. He was sort of a special boy. He was neurodiverse for sure. No, and look, I'm not saying like, I don't think it was like handled inappropriately, but like, it was either Knight writing a wacky kid character because he doesn't know how kids behave.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but like he had like tics, right? Like he was asking everyone their name. What is your name and what do you do? Now,
I think it's like, what is your occupation? Which is very,
that also becomes like
I could do a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, which is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, like I don't again like have
what
you
kind of young Sheldon bullshit is Shyamalan on?
So I don't know. So long story short, I liked a lot of it. Like there was a lot of things I liked here. It just never like all the way got there. I was fine with the end, like the way it went. I mean, but
yeah, it's pretty standard Shyamalan kind of stuff. Yeah,
yeah. If you pull it apart, it just doesn't stand up like on a lot of.
No, I have some thoughts about it, but yeah. So I'm with everybody else. This movie is silly, and I kind of love it. And it's like, when anyone is approaching this, you have to make the decision. Are you going to go along with the silliness and kind of take it for what it is, or which it's totally valid if you can't. But I was pretty down with it, partially because it is really dealing with like some super interesting ideas about. It's actually the rare Shyamalan film where he is, because these are the two. There's two Shyamalan modes, right? I'll spare you my like whole Shyamalan rundown that I do every time we do one of his movies, but he's got two modes. He has like small Twilight Zone-esque, where it's really, yeah, they get really twisty, but it's really a small story that uses these like pretty traditional tension techniques. It's just really good time, like good genre times. And then he has these movies where he sort of gets like a little high in his own supply. He's trying to make some grand statement about humanity in the world, and he's got a big role in it. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he maybe cast himself.
So,
like
and that is where he, to me, where he goes off the reservation. Like, and what's interesting here though is I would call this more Twilight Zone-y, but he is exploring these ideas of aging and humanity and relationships in a way that actually feels, because it's the scale of it is small and personal. I feel like it keeps him reined in and keeps a little bit from like that scope creep happening that kind of happens with his movies. And it's one of the really interesting things about this film is like that thing with the aging kid suddenly trying to verbalize what puberty feels like to a child. Like there are a ton of really poignant moments in this movie. To me, that the moment for me was the couple, now old, on a beach, and there had been like infidelity, and they were sitting there, and it was like, they're about to die. We find out in a minute they're about to die, but like he's got like he can't see. That was one of the most impactful things for me when he all of a sudden he's losing his vision and he doesn't have glasses. And like, I was like, oh shit. That's
well,
like,
she loses her hearing.
She can't hear. It's so well done. And like, but they have this very sweet conversation where they're like, yeah, I can't even remember what it was about. I just love you, man. I'm sorry. That's cool.
Well, and they're like, I can't even remember why we wanted to leave this beach. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Like, that was
no,
it for me. That was the moment that got me. But I mean, whatever. That's kind of the beauty of it, is there's all these different stories, I think, for people to relate to. But larger than that, it is it is brisk, it moves, and it's very tense. I would go so far as to call the cinematography in this movie experimental. This camera never stops moving. And I mean never. Like, it is up in people's faces. It's swinging around. He's like, it's constantly on dollies and Steadicams, and like, it is doing it can almost give you vertigo at times in some scenes.
Swinging back and forth, almost like the pendulum of a clock.
Yes.
Tick tock,
oh,
tick tock.
See, that's smart. I like that.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That's really good. That's really good. But so that's fascinating. Like I really respect the amount that he was just going for it with the camera work and the cinematography, and I think it adds a real motion and tension to the whole film, especially the first act. The first two acts, it does. I mean, you have to have some flow, so it slows down and tries to get poignant, kind of sliding into the third act and then to the finale. But really, everything up into and including the birth scene, that whole segment with the birth scene is bananas. Like, it is an extended. It was probably faked, but it's like an extended single take scene or whatever, where all of this stuff is happening on different parts of the beach. It's fantastic.
That was
really
the moment
cool.
when I decided that I love the movie. Was the kids, like, and this is, I think, first time you see the kids as like teenagers, because before that he kind of keeps it off. You just see like their hands and
he hides them with the camera. There's like strategic camera placements where he's not showing you people, especially the kids, because look, they would have had to cast like 10 kids, if they showed them, So.
But you get the reveal.
You look bigger. You look different. So.
My swimsuit's tight. You get the reveal of the kid from Hereditary and the girl, and she comes around the corner and she's pregnant. And then,
dude, that's a
5-minute scene.
That's an oh shit moment.
The reveal that she's pregnant. They've had sex. She's pregnant. She gives birth. The baby is dead. Like, all of this happens so quickly.
Well, and they're like they're all
5-minute sequence.
They're all freaking out because this is just seeing her pregnant is the first moment that they're comprehending that they even went through puberty. Like, they're really understanding what it means that their kids
have gotten
this.
That's where it all kind of like sinks in.
And then in this extended sequence, then they're debating. They're like, okay, well, like, based on how we figured out how fast time is here, that means you're going to be pregnant for like 27 minutes or something like that, or some shit like that. Maybe it was less than that. And then, but while that's happening,
they
it's
do that math pretty quick, and it's not super.
well,
accurate,
so
I had to get in the sand. Like,
but to
doing
my
their
other
hold
point,
on.
like the silliness, none of it, to John, what you said, none of it holds up to any scrutiny, which is fine. Like it's science, but it's a very fantastical premise in general. This movie does a thing that I think I talk about a lot. It's like a plague of modern screenwriting. What I don't know, because I'm not used to looking at older movies this academically, is like, has this always been a problem, or is this something about modern screenwriting where I don't know if it's because we don't want to do an info dump or maybe it's because we like, in a situation like this, if you decide I don't want to have a character that knows things to explain to other people, you have to do kind of one of two things. Well, three things. Either characters never find out what's happening and they just go through it. They find some kind of documentation somewhere that explains what's going on. That tells them. Or they do what they do in this movie, which I hate. It's like my biggest screenwriting pet peeve. They take very random, disparate pieces of information and immediately jump to nonsensical, silly, complex scientific theories. They spit it out, and everyone else in the group doesn't even acknowledge it, and now it's just knowledge, and that's what it is. They do that near 4 times in this movie, and I would
always correct.
I would much rather it's always correct. Thank you. I would much rather just have characters go through a movie and deal with the emotional part of it and never understand what is happening than this bullshit. It just takes me out of it because I'm just like, because then they build the story and the screenwriting on top of that basically like completely weak bridge that they built by having a bunch of characters connect shit that doesn't make any sense.
Well, there is another way. When we get further into the spoilers, there is another way that I thought of that they could have revealed this, that I think would have worked a lot better than just them leaping to these conclusions that are always correct.
So we can do it. So the spoiler is that the people who run the resort are basically like, it's a cover, spoiler alert, for it is a cover for a pharmaceutical company that is basically they discovered this beach. This beach is just an anomaly that people age there really fast. They give some bullshit explanation about magnetics and rocks or whatever. And they are using it to basically, instead of, and this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to say it anyway. Instead of giving someone a drug and then over time and seeing the effect on them, they drug them before they take them to the beach with a thing that they think might like cure Parkinson's, or in the one lady's case, cure her seizures. And then because they live out a whole life in like a day or two, they can track somehow, even though there's no cameras, they can track.
No, they had cameras. They had
a camera.
They don't
on
have the other monitors, but they do have cameras.
Yeah, that's really weird. Anyway, but they track the drug's effectiveness over a lifetime when it's really a day or two. And I guess that means that they basically scout out and kind of, these people are marks that have been lured to this place. They got a whole thing when they get there. Now it's a Shyamalan-y. You recontextualize like, oh, when they got off the bus, they got a drink, and that was like their drug they're taking. What didn't really make sense to me is like, but wouldn't you then just have to take the drug every 5 minutes like you would if you were taking it daily for the rest of your life? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. You're still taking one dose of a thing.
This is the part. So because like they never really eat, but like if they're aging really
unless
quickly,
they're pregnant,
like the one girl is hungry.
Yeah.
Like the kids are going through puberty.
The kids do because they're gaining mass.
They're gaining mass.
But whatever,
you
still need.
They explain that.
Then it becomes really important. I mean,
pasta.
Talk about like
a couple
my
handfuls of pasta salad doesn't just make more body immediate. That's not how that works.
But like the one woman's issue is that she has like a calcium deficiency, or I mean like early onset osteoporosis. Like they don't exactly say what her condition is, but like somehow no one else has to eat, and they don't like. Wouldn't they all get scurvy right away? You know, like if they're. But she has this like one nutrient problem that gets magnified really quickly. You know, so that's where it's like a little wonky. There's a little fast and loose with the science.
It's very fast and loose, which is fine because like it's not why you're here. You're here for the poignancy and the emotional stuff and the tension, like all that. And again, it's like it's so silly leading up to it. I'm sitting there watching the finale, and I'm like, fine, whatever. Fine, just do it. Like I was like indignant, but fine with it.
Well, Eric, you
I'm
were
curious,
saying that
Go ahead, Kate. Go. Sorry.
You were saying that, with this sort of like two versions of a Shyamalan movie, you get like the tight Twilight Zone, sort of like exploring what this little universe is versus these bigger questions. But I do think we get both here, because we also get the question
That's
of
what I
like,
mean, yeah.
when we're in the lab later and we're seeing that the epileptic woman, like her condition was more or less cured. It's like, do we sacrifice the life of this one woman for the, better quality of life for X number of people? And and looking at what aging and like watching your parents age and watching your kids grow up, so like we're getting a little bit of both there and dipping toes into both of those two Shyamalan
I
camps.
loved that. And actually that was my favorite thing about the ending, is that typically when you see a story where there's some kind of shady science unit who's trying to like do something, even if the thing they're trying to do in a bubble is quote unquote good, like they're still going to be coded as evil. They're still going to sound crazy or megalomaniac. That's not a word, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like the Umbrella Corporation thinks they're saving humanity, but then you meet the Wesker dude and he's like got glasses on inside and he's like evil. Here, I love this scene because what we see is like this very mundane, other than the fact that this is this completely like overdone movie science room that's not real or anything, but like
like tubes with like swirling
it's and like the
blue
lights like
liquids.
mood lighting and like it's stupid, but like ostensibly it is a kind of mundane picture of science life. It's not, no one's an evil scientist. They sound very empathetic and not in a creepy cult way. They're like, man, it's like they
do a moment of silence.
They do a moment of silence for the
it's
victims. Like
one moment.
I kind of loved that there was nuance in that portrayal, even though they're still killing people. It's like they're kind of just posing this ethical question to you as the viewer.
Yeah.
See,
I might
Rob,
dispute that.
I was curious, John, what was your plot thing? Because that like you felt, because I have one too that I'm curious.
That's what I'm going to say is that it's just out of nowhere at the very end. Like, that's interesting. All the medical ethics and informed consent and all that. Those are really interesting questions, but they come out of nowhere. Nothing.
Right.
And that's the last 10 minutes of the movie. And that was what I was saying. Like, I kind of wish this movie, like the first time, because one thing I don't know, we've mentioned that M. Night is in the movie, but he's got like the most director cameo of ever. He's literally up on the rock. He drives the cast to the beach and drops them off, and then he sits up on the rocks and films them, which is like pretty fucking cool. But I think the first time that you actually see like, oh, that's him up on the rocks, it should have followed him back and given us a reveal of the lab like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And then at the lab, they could explain everything that's going on.
Dude.
And the people on the beach could just have some body horror and all that kind of stuff.
They
See that.
like,
Kind of like Cabin in the Woods, like that kind of like
That's super
cutting back and forth.
that's
Here's the people watching, and here's like
yeah.
what's
super
happening.
interesting.
Let me
yeah.
jump in here because it ties into some of the stuff John was talking about. You get him on the beach and everything's mixed. And I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought now because I was trying to keep it in there, and now you guys
Sorry,
kept going
dude.
and I lost it.
The thing that this made me think of is
wait, Casey, what?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that's why I was disappointed in what the twist was when I was talking early on, because you get to the end of this and like John was saying, it's this tiny 10 minutes that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And because of the setup that you've got this weird anomaly that they threw in there and stuff like that, this turns into Annihilation, the discount Annihilation.
And that's the thing.
It's
it's
not
not
as spread
even a
out as well.
twist, I would say. Like a twist is like in Sixth Sense, where like
You don't
that
see it
changes
coming.
everything that you've already seen in the movie. This is just a reveal. It's just like
just
any other
it's an
movie.
explanation.
It's
Yeah.
where like, oh, this is what the bad guy's plan was.
That's a super good point.
They forecast it a little bit though, because they're like, everyone here in the like everyone's a little sick. What's your sickness?
No, it is. There are bread. That's why I was saying.
But
Like,
that's the
you know,
point.
There's a lot of
yeah.
breadcrumbs that are dropped throughout. Even the way they like deliver the drinks, like you knew there was something weird about those drinks that they were giving them because like they were in weird glasses. Like it was just very weird.
We read your flavor profiles.
My look, I feel like he was on because they shot this during the pandemic. I just thought M. Night was watching Lost and was kind of like, guys, I got this. Like, because it's the end of the first season of Lost for anyone that, if you want to go all the way back. But no, my thing, the thing that kind of drove me the craziest potentially was the reveal around how they're going to get off the beach. and again, this ties into Eric's point about like they make like 18 leaps of logic, and oh, by the way, we're talking about a 6-year-old here who like figures out a bunch of science. But then there's this whole setup where when the 6-year-old arrives on the island, he makes friends with like another boy. They have like these like coded things they write to each other, and that kid writes him a coded message, which like out of nowhere at the end, he's like, my old friend, I think his name was Ibid or Ilib, and he's like,
maybe,
yeah, he wrote me a note that I never decoded.
That was real silly.
And again, it's only been a day or something, but it's one of those things where like, that's a moment where it's like, that's something a 6-year-old would do actually.
No, but it's a huge leap to be like, to this random kid writing a note about the coral to be like, you know what we should do? We should swim out in the dangerous ocean that's killed everyone who's gone into it.
There's
and then we should swim
a tunnel in the coral that goes all the way.
Right. Have you ever played Echo the Dolphin? It's just like that. And then and I also have to call shenanigans. This always drives me insane in movies. Like, if you're not a trained athlete or swimmer, you ever try to just go underwater and hold your breath? That shit doesn't work. 10 seconds.
I was going to say the same thing. They were both like Olympic level swimmers.
Yes. Yeah, lung capacity of like Michael Phelps out here, and I'm like trying to hold my breath for like a fraction of it, and I'm like, well, I guess I would just fucking die.
Right. and you're not underwater. You're not worried you're gonna die. You're sitting on your couch watching a movie, and you cannot do it. Or anyone. I mean, it's my point. Like, it's just silly.
Well, I was even wondering as they started going off of that, and once they got down to the tunnel and stuff, but I'm still sitting there thinking, well, what the hell are they going to do on the other side?
Because the original...
Then they got to swim God knows where.
Because that whole thing, though, the note is then connected back to another leap they made an hour earlier where somebody's like, what if we built metal and then it would protect us from the rock magnetism? And it's like, that's never proven. There's no proof. That was just a guess. So then they go, what if the coral is like the metal? And I'm like, bro, do you science? Because that is not.
We haven't proven
anything.
That's the thing. It was a 6-year-old. Like, at least when they're just like, I'll maybe get a metal tube, because that dialogue is between just the brother and sister. You know, I mean, that was ridiculous.
And realistically, though, 86-year-old that turned into an adult in the last 30 minutes, and after a day and a half, still going to be sitting there on the beach going,
Well, I was trying to think like, okay, so their brains are developing some of those neural connections that everybody's does when they age. So it's like some of it makes sense that they would mature a little bit, but they wouldn't have the vocabulary and the sort of like the emotional experience to project that and have those conversations.
We didn't mention.
But
go ahead.
I did kind of like that we have like a little secondary twist where, M. Night is like up there with the binoculars and he's like, they're dead. Case closed. And then the kids are like, we're here. And it's like, I don't know. And Shelton, you had mentioned that you think it would have been better probably if the movie had ended with them building. I think it would have been really poignant and beautiful to have them end as kids still kind of building sandcastles on the beach together. Sort of gratifying to have it all come, but the end was a little silly.
We didn't mention
not like the rest of the movie. That was not silly.
The boy who we watched get older in his mid years is played by the dude from Hereditary,
Alex Wolff.
John, have you read the comic
on all those children?
No,
but Caitlin, that's
curious.
Really quick, Caitlin, that's a really good way though to code who you're looking at, because.
Oh,
he has that. So like,
because
they use 3 different actors. He's the middle one, but they put the mole on all 3 of us. So like on the other 2. So it's good. Sorry, John, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No. I was just curious, like if the sort of science researchy stuff came from the comic book, or because the comic book's called Sandcastles.
Oh, that's
interesting.
And
I was like, maybe they knew and they just ended it at Sandcastles. But
I mean, at the end of the day, I was very excited to come and talk about all the like plot threads that don't make sense, but it's just fun. Like, it's a fun movie that also has these poignant moments. And
we didn't even really talk about like the other families that were there. The doctor, wasn't he the guy from City of Lost Children? Was I assuming that right?
Oh, dude,
no, I think so.
The scene where they remove remove the one woman's tumor is bananas.
Yeah,
so gross.
That's cool. I like the body horror was awesome.
Yeah. The death scene for the woman who had the calcium deficiency was
wild.
Really gruesome. Actually.
Yeah. No, that's a great. breaking bones and then they heal immediately and then break again.
Now
that's
here's a
really
question,
cool
John. Here's a question.
visual. That,
Let's say she woke up that morning at the hotel and took her calcium pill. Wouldn't that then have just supplied her with calcium for the rest of her short, long life, like everyone else's medicine lasts forever?
Based on what we know about the medicine, yeah.
Well, she did ask. She was like, "I have a legitimate calcium deficiency. Is this a calcium drink for real or not?"
Yeah.
So maybe they were like teasing.
Dude,
like,
I didn't
maybe
catch
that
that.
was their.
I did appreciate that because I thought that was bullshit. Like that really seemed like, oh, the rich white lady is like
Well, that's
harassing
why
the employee, and then like I'm like, shit, she really does have a
it's
calcium
great because
deficiency.
you think it's just coding her as like a bitch, but then it's recontextualized later with that. Yeah. And yeah, her death scene is pretty amazing.
I love the I'm personally scared of everything, but tetanus is one of them. And the tetanus death, I was like, whoo.
I actually really, name aside, I really enjoyed the dude who played the rapper. I thought it was like a really interesting portrayal, and like his style, like the way that they had like his whole costuming, and he looked like he was in an anime basically. Like it was pretty wild.
Yeah, they went a little heavy on the eyeliner though.
Like he looked like he was like a character in like one of those Def Jam fighting games from like the PS2.
Yes.
So here's my question: when and how did he get to the beach with the woman who dies in the ocean? Because
They
like
got there the night before. And
Or like at sunrise, it shows
Yeah.
them before the other people come to the beach.
yeah, but like the hotel is the one dropping everyone there. There's like a gate, and like we know you can't get off the beach. Like, can you
Unless
get onto
they
the
were from
beach?
the
Like,
Maybe they were a little
last of the
younger, and
last
it took a
batch.
little longer for their drugs to
he
kick
was
in.
it was a 6-year-old mid-sized sedan who was dropped off on the beach and
was
by
a-
himself.
It was a compact.
And he got like super diesel as like
Yeah.
without having to work out.
It was a compact car when he was a kid.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it? It's a car joke.
It's terrible.
I mean, that's a really cool concept in and of itself. Like you're on a beach with, some strangers essentially, and a body washes up, and you're like, "What the fuck do we do?" Like that's its own little Agatha
Yeah.
Christie sort of like cool moment anyway.
Interesting too,
Well, you
because
run
like
off
you
the beach usually if you're not blacking out and running backwards. Going,
did M Night did Night find a loophole in the ratings board process by making the naked lady be dead? Like, is that okay then? If it's
well, and we see her alive.
yeah.
We get full.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, like she naked, like in a PG-13 movie, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We're going back to the 80s, John. I like it. Synth music is back and boobs in PG-13 movies. Can't go wrong.
Did they ever say what the doctor's ailment was though? Like, was it supposed to be Alzheimer's or
Schizophrenia?
dementia? Was it schizophrenia?
Oh, you know what, John? All
Because
kidding.
they say that they should separate the mental patients. Like that's one of the scientists is like, oh, we should do the mental people separately from the physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, John, how silly in 2021 is the idea of movie ratings when every kid in a movie theater has a device in their pocket with all of the most hideous pornography you could ever want or not
All I
want.
will say is, as a parent, I do actually use the ratings for like a movie where
Sure.
I'm like, should I show this to them? And I'm like, PG-13. That's a little probably.
But
little
there
far.
should be 2 ratings. Does your kid have a cell phone? Does your kid not have a cell phone?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's-
I
that's the
can live
cutoff.
with
Yeah,
that.
once
That's
they hit
fair.
about 13. that's what we're
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
Like they're not finding
bets are off.
Playboys in the backyard like I did when I was a kid, John. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
It wasn't my backyard. They were buried in a bucket in my friend's backyard. It's a whole thing.
Let's be honest. Your brother put them there.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you're making an excuse for the older
Listen,
new Elvis.
we can get him on the
who-
line. Anything else you guys want to talk about with old?
So this was actually a point I was going to make to something someone said earlier. Oh, well, it was really about, Eric, your point on when characters learn things. One day, so I haven't like fully processed this, but like if you saw this movie without seeing the trailer or any of the marketing, like you'd be experiencing it somewhat the same way the characters were. I think virtually everyone who saw this movie, you go in knowing that the beach makes them older. Like,
What's
it's
the
called
title?
old.
It's called
Yeah,
old.
I know, but like old is a pretty
Well,
fucking whatever. Like
the-
that could be a lot of
The
shit.
beach was
But
taken, unfortunately.
The trailer tells you exactly what's happening, and even the poster has like the woman's. It's like her the main poster, at least that I've seen, is like her sitting, and like one leg is like a skeleton leg, and the other one, or it's like an aged, like. So, I don't know. Like this is a situation where I feel like if you knew absolutely nothing, I don't know if you have a completely like different experience, but there's the concept of dramatic irony, I believe. It like is when the audience knows things that the characters don't, and that creates tension. And so, like here, there's a little bit of a cheat in that like we know a lot of shit that they don't know, but it's like not because of the movie. The movie didn't get us there. It's that the marketing got us there, and so you go in knowing a lot more, and that creates some of the tension. I feel like, or at least sets up some of the stuff. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm rambling a little, but I don't know. You can't avoid that shit in a M. Night film. But yeah,
it's true. It's true, John.
Yeah, the title "The Beach" was already taken. So
that's right.
What are you gonna do?
Like no one's ever used the
Magic
title
Rocks
again.
was not taken, but the PCP dealers just kidding.
Would you recommend old John Shelton?
Yeah, totally. Go in with an open heart and an open mind. But yeah.
Open. I like that. Caitlin.
Yes, I would.
Casey.
Yeah.
John Schnars.
No.
Are you serious?
Twist.
I'm going no. I'm going no.
I surprisingly, I'm a yes. I'm a hard yes on this one. It's real fun. All right, it's gonna do it. Let's take a. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I didn't have a bumper loaded, John, so I'm just gonna.
Do you even know how to podcast, bro?
All right, let's take it again from the top.
Always hit record. Always hit record.
I'm still waiting. Can somebody talk? I'll cut this part
Guess
out.
not.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's go
Get
with the
5
first.
podcasters in a room.
Let's
None
go with
have anything to
let's
say.
go with the first one I clicked on. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. Let's take a break and do some fan mail.
Some people have expressed outrage.
Is that Santa's reindeer?
Over a Christmas movie that is this violent, this disturbing, and this raw. Our answer is, you haven't seen anything yet. Black Christmas. Rated R. Everywhere Christmas Day.
This is Jake Busey. You're listening to the Bloody Good Horror Podcast.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. It's time for fan mail. But before we do that, we got some stuff to talk about. Caitlin. Oh, let's look at my top 10 list first. Can you read me like the bottom 5?
Bottom 5. So we'll start with number 5. Number 5 is Forever Purge, 6 Werewolves Within, 7 Malignant, 8 The Stylist, 9 Boys from County Hell, and 10 Psycho Goreman.
Boot The Stylist and put this at 10 and push everything up.
Okay.
This I don't know. I mean, something's got to go for Halloween. Like, there's no way Halloween's not on there. I feel like it's Halloween, John. Michael Myers.
I love the way when you do it in real time. It's like I don't know. It's just I like watching the thought process.
So
as it
yeah,
evolves.
I love it. I love sharing it with you, John,
Yeah.
and everyone. Thank you, Caitlin. All right, so this next segment is going to be talking about the 2021 Halloween Zoomtacular meetup for patrons. It's going to be telling both the audience and Schnars about it, because Schnars doesn't know.
I've been following along.
Two things, John. One,
do
you have a costume?
No, I was thinking about this today. I'm gonna have to figure something
You
out.
need something. Two, have you ever gone as Marty McFly? Because I feel like you'd make a real good Marty McFly.
I just feel like the effort level on that is higher
dude,
than I might
it's
be
buy a
able to.
vest and like some
I don't know. I
sunglasses.
think with the hair, you could do like maybe a Big Trouble in Little China.
There you go.
Kurt Russell, dude. Okay, now I'm getting
I
excited.
do need to lean on the hair now that you say that. It's
A white tank top would be pretty easy.
How about Bill Moseley in House of a Thousand Corpses?
Dude, that's good.
Your hair is
That's
a lot healthier than his, but I think you could pull it off.
I could let it go for a day.
Still wash it for some days.
Yeah, it wouldn't take that long. You know, I'm a sweater, Eric. So.
That would be real funny. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is the deal. This is a Zoom meetup. We did this last year. If you are a patron, that's how you get the invite to go to it. So it's for patrons only. The evening is going to be broken up into two main things. The first thing we do usually is a meet and greet because like there's lots of people typically on who haven't met, some people who have, but we're going to go around, tell us what your costume is, tell us who you are. We kind of get to know each other, and it's also the sort of beginning of the costume contest. We then, meaning the core BGH team here, me, Casey, Caitlin, and John, are going to judge the costume contest. Did you know that, John?
I did know that.
You do? Yeah, you know that.
There was an email thread with that I was following, just not participating.
Caitlin is not comfortable with judging or confrontation, so I'm going to be the head of that, John. Just so you know, I'm going to take the heat.
I'll
for that
judge
one.
behind the scenes, like a true
I like
shithead.
to express my opinion. So
Just so you know, whoever loses, it was not Caitlin's idea. Okay, it was mine. But so here's what's really cool. We have been working behind the scenes. Myself, Caitlin, and Elizabeth has been helping out to source like prizes for this because we really wanted to like give something back to the community, make this event super fun for people. So the awesome people at HalloweenCostumes.com, my boy Wyatt over there, he's my dude over there, John. He's hooking us up.
He thought of himself as your boy prior to this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really
He's hooking us up for the winners. There's gonna be 3 winners for the costume contest: the grand prize winner, and then 2 runners up, as first and second. And the winner is going to get a $100 gift code to HalloweenCostumes.com. The first runner-up is going to get $50, and the third runner-up is going to get $25. It's basically a one-stop shop. Anything you need. I think there's also some just fun memorabilia type stuff on there too. So like you can go buck wild with whatever. And it's all year long. So and the codes I've been told never go bad. So you could save them for next year when you're planning your costume. All good. So that's the costume contest. Caitlin also, as the thrifty little prize collector that she is, has put together 4, is it?
4 door prizes.
Basically door prizes. So all you have to do to win these prizes is show up. We're going to have a random name picker that everybody's going to go into, and you can win these prizes. Do you want to go over what those are briefly, Caitlin?
I would love to. I have had such a good time with
Oh my
this.
God. You just look so excited.
Dude, I
I'd
fucking
love
love
to.
home goods. So the first one, I'm calling it the Drac Pack. So it's a cool copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Can I ask you a question? Did you chortle when you made up that name?
I did.
Did you smile a little bit?
I was like texting it to you guys, like, look. It also includes a Universal Monsters Dracula and a Dracula Pez. The second one is a witch pack. It's got a spell journal, a Funko Pop of Sarah from The Craft, a moon nightlight, and some witchy pins.
Ooh.
The third one is the snack pack, which has some caramel corn, some pumpkin spice coffee, and some bat candies.
I do like.
And no picture of Schnars.
I do like a good snack pack. The grand prize
George is
winner.
like clutching his chest like he might.
The grand prize winner. The grand prize
I'm
winner
good.
gets the private OnlyFans link.
BGH OnlyFans been teeing it up for a long time. And then the fourth one is the Skella Pack, which is a skeleton beanie, skeleton socks, a skull mug, and a framed scene from Poltergeist where she's in the pool with all the skeletons.
That sounds dope. Very nice. So yeah, those will be given out randomly throughout the evening. The second portion of the evening, and if you were around last year, you're familiar with this. Mr. John Shelton here is going to be bringing us some kick-ass horror trivia. It'll be every person kind of playing individually. You could just hang out if you wanted to, but everybody's welcome to play. And so the grand prize for that, this is news to Shelton. I don't think he knew this. You're going to win a copy of Trivial Pursuit Horror Edition.
Ooh.
Let's see. I'm trying to find. There is a link to a book here. I'm trying to find it. There's a slasher like compendium book that we picked out. That's like a very nice coffee table book, lots of art and stuff. I got to find the name. I'll find the name while John's talking. And then the last thing is one item, anything you want from the BGH shop. Not limited to t-shirts. There's hoodies. There's all kinds of crazy shit in there. So like one item, anything you want. That is the winner, the person who can prove their horror trivia medal. Yeah, and like feel free to drink whatever party favors you like. Go sober like I'll be, and just have some fun. Get to know some other BGH patrons. Hang out with us. Get judged by us, which I feel like could be some people's kink, John. I think someone surely.
I hope so.
So, John,
it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. John, can you just talk about your trivia game a little bit here, like how you're putting stuff together?
Yeah. We're mixing it up a little because some lessons learned from last year. I had a very complicated scoring system that I was having to do, and so my experience of last year's Halloween thing was myself and my lovely wife Susan were doing scoring, and then when we finally had the scores, everybody on the Zoom call was just trashed. It was amazing. Like everybody was fine, and then I got done with trivia. I'm like, let's go, and everybody was like, blah blah
hell
blah.
Hell of trashed, and they, you know what? They were being led by Schnars.
I mean, I was nonsensical by the end. It was real bad.
So yeah, I found a new system that scores itself. It's a cool little kind of online app-based kind of, or not app-based. You don't have to download anything. It's all through a browser. But yeah, should be good fun. Should be nice and quick and easy and a good time for all.
I love it, and I loved the questions last year, John. You are very good at this. The second prize, I just looked it up. It is the Teenage Slasher Movie Book, the definitive horror film reference from Psycho to Friday the 13th to Scream, with poster art from around the world. It is an oversized paperback, like coffee table size book. So there you go.
Nice.
So okay, we're gonna send all these details out probably next week via Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror and support us at any level, then when the time comes, it'll be like a few days before, you'll get a Zoom link to come and join us. And for everybody who's supported us, who's already supporting us, thank you. And we would love to see you there. And just want to see people having a good time, enjoying the event. Because the world is still fucked. So why not let's get together and in a safe way and have some fun. And if people are worried about, like, they are not drinkers, like, neither am I. So we can be sober buddies and just at some point exchange frustrated glances in the evening.
I'll be in my cousin's
Everybody's
basement.
getting judged one way or another.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I'm super excited. That was a ton of fun last year. And last year was like we were all blowing off pandemic steam. So it'll be, I think, nice this year. Now they're all vaxxed up to maybe do that with a little less, pressure all around. But yeah, please, and if you're looking for stuff before Halloween here, there's still time. HalloweenCostumes.com. Tell them Wyatt sent you. Tell them Bloody Good Horror sent you. Really, I mean, there's no way to do that, but you should tell them that.
Wyatt's bro Eric.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Love it. All right. Quick here, we got some emails, info@bloodygoodhorror.com. This is all Caitlin from Kissimmee this week. I'm sorry to report. So this is an email about the old Google report. Do you remember this, John? This is
boy.
If you know the Google report, you go way back.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
we gave it up because there's like a whole lot.
It was
like,
the early
spam
days
going
of the website, and Mark would get these reports about Google searches that people found our site from, and a lot of it was just real weird, and we'd read them on the show. That went great, and then people started gaming it. And then,
not people, and then it was like spam bots.
Yes, no, but there were people.
Some of it was first ones.
There were. We've since learned there were people that were just googling dumb shit, trying to, But Kaylin says, sorry to report, but I googled bloody asshole trailer porn, and bloody disgusting comes up in the search, but not BGH. I was curious if the old Google reports still lead to you. Hate to see bloody disgusting get your foot traffic. I mean, same. But
yeah, it's tough.
Going down.
Yeah,
Let's
that
go.
was a classic back in the day. That one. Okay. Oh wait, shit. Hold on. I gotta look up the date here because she actually gave the date of the. She's giving me a report here on when you first said M. Night Shyamalan's name wrong. It is episode 31, so that would have been sometime in 2008. John says, John gives his first half-assed word. It's event for the happening.
Wow.
Jesus, John.
Come a long way, baby.
Long day that day, or what?
31.
I salute my younger self. Look, he called the movie The Happening. I think I must have done that.
That is ironic, you think?
You know,
John says M. Night's name wrong for the first time and insists Eric is wrong and pronounces it Shyamalan. Of course, the classic Schnars pronunciation. And then actually,
I don't know how to say it anymore, guys. Like, legit, if someone came up to me on the street and was like, "How do you say that?" I'd be like, "I don't fucking know. I'm not even gonna try."
It's Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan.
I know. Well, when you say it and I hear you say it, I can repeat it back. I'm not like, mentally handicapped. I can't.
This is like trying to teach my 3-year-old who says Y's for R's. Like,
the problem is, like, in the neural pathways, it's been now they've been trod so many times the wrong way that I can't.
Also, if you caught the compendium episode we did for episode 502, there at some point there was some show where I just lost it on you, like demanded that you say it right. I don't remember what one it was. But.
Stars, just sing it to the tune of Mana Mana, Shyamalan.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I like that, Casey. info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address. That's it for emails. Casey, what do we got on Twitter?
On Twitter, use the hashtag AskBGH. We got a couple out there this week. First up, coming from Haunted Becky Tyler, also known as @BeckyTylerArt. This film was shot in a very claustrophobic way, many close-ups, especially during convos, making the viewer uncomfortable. Do you feel it works to the film's advantage? I do, and it's part of why I loved it so much.
It's aggressive. Yeah, the camera's aggressive in this movie. Like he's, it feels like a character almost with how, it's very, you were kind of always thinking about it.
I'm so mad that Shelton nailed it, and I'm like, God damn it.
The clock thing.
Time has
I
passed.
like the movie.
Ooh, I loved it. And now I'm just like, oh, fucking smart people, Shelton and Shyamalan.
Jerk.
Well, that's the twist. I am him not. No.
That would be so cool.
That'd be the great ending for the podcast.
Just rip the mask off. I like it.
This whole time.
After we struggled to pronounce his name. Perfect.
Next up, we have Alex Jones. When did you know you weren't a kid anymore? Me, I was 29 and I threw my back out putting my shoes on and couldn't go to work for 4 days.
Dude, this weekend, I had a wedding weekend in Gordonsville and had a great time. But on Sunday, I got home and I was going to send a snap to some of my friends, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I look ragged, feel like shit. It was a rough Sunday afternoon.
I feel like a lot of people have those moments, and oftentimes it is when you are suddenly and urgently called on to do some type of athletic movement that you have not done in a while. Like, really lurch to pick something up that's dropping or something, and you just feel everything moving away. You're not you. And you're like, oh my! It's like when you have that moment, you realize like how far gone you are.
I pulled a muscle sneezing once. That was a pretty heavy moment for me.
See, I'm gonna go. Oh, go ahead, John. Go.
I was gonna say I played rec league kickball one time, and just running the base.
Yeah.
Like. Something just happened to my legs, and
something happened to my legs.
And it's very hard to play off with the 25-year-olds who are on the team.
Mine's not like a physical thing, and it was the year after I graduated from college.
Adonis,
I showed up at one of my jobs. I was working multiple jobs, and one was an internship where I wasn't getting paid, and I had been drinking too much the night before. And I can still remember, it was that they basically, I showed up, I looked like shit, I probably smelled bad, and, because I had been drinking, and they gave me black coffee, and it was the first time I ever drank coffee to wake up, and I've been addicted to coffee for whatever, 17 years.
Dude, it blows people's mind. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was 27.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably 23 actually when it happened, but
I've still never gotten into it. Maybe
I
it
was
wouldn't
like
help me on
9.
Sunday.
I would be
but it was literally like, you're an adult now, like you have to show up at work and be functional. Here is the thing that you need, and I was
dude,
like,
before my stomach rebelled against me and wouldn't let me drink it anymore, I used to get like I would hit my physical peak of how much I could drink, and it wasn't a lot. Like I would drink 2 cups a day. If I really was like I might go 3, but then the third one would always push me up against my limits where I'd be like, okay, I feel the anxiety, my body hurt, my tum hurts, like there's stuff going on. But I would be always actively trying to train myself to have a higher tolerance because I would hear people who would be like, yeah, I woke up, I drank like a pot of coffee this morning, and I would be jealous. I'd be like, I want to be that person that can't stop drinking coffee.
I am a little envious, like people that drink black coffee. The only thing I drink is like what tastes like a milkshake. Like I just like I can't. I still don't. So
anyway,
it looks cool.
We're all old.
Yeah.
Casey's
totally agree.
Casey's turned to dust, his bones to dust, and over the course of the show.
At this point. But
Sometimes,
also our next tweet
my knees
comes
sound
from
like
Tracy Bullock. Sorry, Jarek. At T-Rexy SDYD. Now, I'm saying that with this next tweet because it actually works as an answer for Alex Jones' tweet that we've lasted this long, that we've got this question on BGH. Light bulb recommendations, please. Indoor lighting, not too bright, not too yellow. Watts, LED, help. And
I will
all the
tell
life
you,
requires, this choice has me flummoxed.
I will tell you, almost any kind of modern LED bulb is going to be way too bright. If you're gonna go that way, you have to go with like the yellow warm light ones because the blue ones will burn your retinas out. Like it's just no fun. It's like institutional lighting. If you can, I think in some places you can still get halogens, right?
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, that's the way to go. Just get that warm light, John.
Yeah, no, they make the LEDs though. They're like,
but they're still too bright.
They're really white.
They're so bright.
Yeah, I don't know.
I always had the like 60 watt soft yellow or whatever it was.
John's not the one to talk to right now because he's in a dark, dank room, just lit up only by the harsh light of a ring light.
He's just like scowled at you.
He's in a dungeon right now.
All right, last tweet of the night we have from @DuckSensual. How does knowing there will be a Halloween Ends affect your hype for Halloween Kills?
I saw that today. I hadn't really thought about it in those terms. It makes me weirdly more hype because I feel like setting this up as a trilogy, they could be telling you like, here's the dark one where like everything's just effed.
Yeah. And at this point in however many Halloween movies there are, is it going to throw me up that they bring him back for a third movie? Yeah. No.
At the end of the fourth one, they literally like a firing squad shoots him 1,000,000 times. He falls into like a well, and they throw dynamite down it, and then he comes back a year later.
And I don't want to blow your minds, but like, I think there's a chance even after Halloween Ends, they might make another Michael Myers movie. I mean, I know that's kind of crazy, and it's right there in the title, but like,
easy.
Somebody on Slack was talking about David Gordon Green today, this week, and somebody he reminded them of, and I was saying like, he reminds me of Kenny Powers' sidekick in Eastbound and Down because that's what he looks like, and now he's hanging out with Danny McBride.
Oh well, they went to film school together, didn't they?
Yeah, they like right together.
Yeah.
Do you know Shelton? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like he looks like that dude.
I don't know what he looks like.
Kenny isn't
Kenny? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway.
Yeah, those two have written most of those like Eastbound and Down together, haven't they?
Well, that was Jody Hill.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Is that it, Casey?
That is it.
Let's do some Instagram. Let's go back to.
Oh my God, he does look like that guy.
Told you, it's really.
Now I gotta look.
Which, like, if you've seen that show too, it's just that makes it really funny.
That actor is great.
The thought of the two of them, like from that show, making a Halloween movie is real hilarious. Kenny,
oh, wow, is it like his brother?
Do you know what I'm saying?
He looks exactly like
John. When they were doing this first Halloween movie, I thought it was him. I thought they met on Eastbound and Down, and now they're bros, and they're making a horror movie together. It's not him. So and that's also not a flattering person to be
Stevie was his name in the show. Stevie. Right. Steve Little.
All right. Best and worst Shyamalan movies, go.
I'll go Bat for the Village. I really like it.
As the best?
What's the what
for me? I mean, maybe that or Split.
I think
I was pretty good.
I think Split is the best, and I think Lady in the Water is the worst. Or The Happening. The Happening is very bad.
The Happening is
pretty bad.
The thing about Lady in the Water, Lady in the Water is peak him putting himself too much in his own movies in a very grandiose role, and that's
the main character.
That's why it really bothers me.
He was the wizard in the castle.
For both. That's my answer.
Strong play.
It was the best of Shyamalan. That was the worst of Shyamalan.
There you go.
This next question is about hi-fi, John. John, you didn't even comment on the new intro music.
Oh no! I mean, what did you want me to say? I liked it. It was a good time.
That's a start. Yeah, that works.
I honestly,
babe, I got my hair cut and you didn't even notice.
Thank you.
No, I forgot again that you changed the music. You had told me.
You sat here and listened to it.
And so I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know how to take any of that, John, but thank you. This next question. Eric, your music project name, Hi-Fi, what does it mean? Is it an acronym, an abbreviation? Who would like to tell him?
Did you plant this question?
I did not. Who knows? Who knows the answer?
What was your inspiration for track 3?
He was really into the name change for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes. So. No. Well, it stands for high fidelity. It's like an audio standard that goes back to record days and into tapes and CD players and VHS. And I changed the spelling to avoid copyright problems. So there you go. HY-FY. If you like the new theme music.
Optimization.
That's right. Is it okay to do the 5K Thursday instead of Friday? I'll be on a train/wedding that weekend. Yeah, of course. We didn't even mention that, John. BGH 5K. Let me pull this date up quick. This is not, so this show is going to come out on Friday the 8th. The 5K is going to start, let's say Thursday the 14th, if you want to get it on a Thursday. The weekend of the 15th, 16th, 17th. It's a 5 kilometers, John. That's, I believe, 3.1-ish miles. Is that right?
Yeah.
Run it on your running app there. Send it in and be a part of the event. It's going to be exciting. I think I'm going to walk it. That's a lot of people just make a day out of it and walk, which is cool.
They can do their the listeners can do their 5K
hours.
You can do it in about an hour. I do it in about an hour. 1 year I did it in like 53 minutes or something, which I thought was pretty good.
I'm just going to throw out there that the listener can do their 5K on Thursday, but if they track their run while they're on the train, they may actually beat John.
Yeah. John, 1 year I did it while doing my laundry at my apartment complex, and I would just pause my run keeper and then switch the laundry and then keep walking. Yeah.
There's almost no way I'm beating my time from, I guess, last year. No, it was 2 years ago was my...
What kind of spirit is that? Next up, what's your take on the new Game of Thrones prequel? I don't know if you guys saw this. It is House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
It is, I believe it's about a specific period. It's 200 years pre-Game of Thrones when there is the whole deal with the Targaryen families that there's all these offshoots because it's so old and like different houses that sort of spring off of it. And then I believe this deals with a rebellion specifically of like bastards, I think, that like have formed their own. It's a whole thing, I think that's what it is, John. But it's back.
You've explained nothing.
It's back.
The ash blonde people versus the golden blonde people.
It's the back in the period when there were dragons were just a thing. Not like, you know.
I didn't have any interest till I saw Matt Smith was in it today, so now I'm kind of curious.
I mean, the Dan and Dave, the showrunners of the show, are not involved. George Martin's been involved from the beginning, so I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna be good.
I got an idea. How about he just goes and fucking writes a book?
Yes, yes, but I also like watching TV shows. I like watching dragons. They're cool too.
It's just like ridiculous. Just hire someone else to finish the goddamn books at this point.
You know what I like about this conversation right now, John? No one's here to make fun of me for talking about how much I like dragons.
I just appreciate the way you say dragon.
Me?
There are some folks, I say it dragon. There are some folks on my team that are from the Midwest at work, and we were trying to talk about like promo for work, and one of the options was a magnet. and they kept saying magnet, and I was like, magnet, magazine, dragon. I was like, can you guys say all the words? They said
I
it
don't
like
think I say dragon or dragon.
you say dragon, but like I don't know exactly where these girls are from, but I was like delighted and fascinated by the way that they
All right,
their,
really
their
quick.
long A's.
Really quick, Casey, what is the thing called that you call that little kids color with?
A crayon.
Yeah, that's not how I say it. Hilarious. Okay, I love it. Yeah, I'm excited for the Game of Thrones thing. 2022, it said. Is it possible to not giggle if someone says "see you next Tuesday" unironically? That's fair. I get it. Have you checked out Midnight Mass yet?
Maybe not. Oh yeah, we were talking about it pre-show.
I've
Real
not.
good.
John,
Highly recommend.
Some people are. I have not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Good.
Catch up,
Thumbs
buddy,
up
it's
from the
good.
people who've seen it.
Yeah. Quality programming.
Caitlin, you described it as a show wherein you what did you say? Shoulder sop?
Full shoulder sop at the end.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life.
Well, here's my
Like, I got
question.
enough
As a
stuff
Flanagan
happening.
thing, here's my question. Where does it shake out on a scale if 1 is sad and 10 is scary? Where am I on the
It
spectrum
leans
here?
more towards sad, I think.
Probably about a
course.
4.
Yeah.
It's beautiful though. Like it's a
It's
beautifully
good
done
sad
thing.
though. It's not like miserable sad.
You're gonna feel great after this.
Because it's
Very
why
bald,
it's
but
why
it's good.
I loved Hill House because it was real scary. And it's why I kind of was not into Bly Manor because I didn't think it was scary. I never finished Bly Manor.
But what about, we mentioned in Flanagan a couple times and scary, what about the news today that he's going to be doing Fall of House of Usher?
Yeah, I
Thanks.
saw that.
Super
Yeah.
down for that.
Very excited.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and
I'm
hopefully it's going to be
excited.
like the same as the haunting things, and it'll be
Yeah.
like a modern thing. Hopefully.
He's just like out here not trying to pay anyone license fees for their IP. Like
Public
hey,
domain.
any old scary stuff I can make into movies. You know?
My dude, love it.
Next up, I like this question a lot. How are you? Just how are you? John, can I get an answer?
I don't know. All right.
I don't know.
I don't know was the best.
No, yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
pretty good. Anybody else? Anybody else volunteer an answer?
I had a really fun weekend, recovering from it, but really fun.
Yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good.
Generally, these days,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm finally over my plague completely, so
That's
I'm feeling
good.
pretty good.
I would say generally these days, I won't give an answer outside of the current moment, and I would say in this moment, I'm doing pretty good. So there you go. I love this one. This is a great question for people. Pay attention.
Quit contacting or editorializing the questions. Just ask.
I can do what I want, John. Unless you're going to ask.
Lord.
Are you going to remember Question Tuesday every week and do it yourself? I don't think so. Full disclosure, 2 people had to remind me this week over DM. 2 fans were like, hey, are you going to ask for questions? Okay. M. Night and Rob Zombie both want to direct your horror movie. Who do you pick to interpret your vision? I said let them both do it.
Yeah.
Fight it out.
M Night
Anthology.
is a much better director.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
If he's not writing, that would
What if
help.
M. Night
I mean, that's true of
Shyamalan?
both
What if M. Night Shyamalan directed? This is what I want. I want each of them to direct a movie written by the other person, and then I want to watch both
There
of
you
them
go.
and see what happens.
Now that would be cool.
Can you imagine M. Night directing a Rob Zombie written movie? Like M. Night directs these very heady, like thoughtful, even if they're silly, like movies, and just I can't imagine his character saying, "Imagine the people on the beach talking like Sherry Moon Zombie in the Halloween remake."
Yeah.
A lot of interesting dialogue. in
M
there.
Night's just like reading the script, like why are
Like
these
imagine
four
this
white people talking to each other?
Imagine this super sophisticated, like European dad saying the C word. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. I like that one a lot. One more question, John. There's your warning.
Thank you.
I'm 3 movies into a Phantasm marathon. Should I continue?
No.
I
Yes.
say, yes.
Yes.
4 is 4. If you've made it through 3 and you were like, that was cool, you should also watch 4. And then you should stop and never even think about Ravager because it is so bad.
If you made it to 3 and you're asking should I continue, I think you've answered your own
Yours
question.
is there, man. Keep going.
Like, is it worth it? The 4 is really fun because it gets way deep up its own butt about the like planes and like time travel and like all this shit.
I think you just have to go into it and accept that there's a bit of a fall off after the third one, but you gotta close it out.
But it's like this though. Like it's
you made it
3.
through 3. Keep going.
But it's 3, and then 4 is like a little fall off, and then 5 is like in the dumpster.
5 is something. Yeah.
5 the one that we did on the show.
Yes, 5 is the one
Ravager
we did on the show. It was like the modern one that he made. It was real bad.
If I've learned anything tonight, life is short. So
that's a good point.
Spend your time wisely.
Yeah, your cells are deteriorating as we speak at a rapid pace.
I'm always aware of that.
My bones may already be dust, even though I'm still alive.
Eric and I have the arthritis.
I got the rightest. All right.
Oh my God.
Next week, I'm super excited. We are reviewing VHS 94. This is on, I believe, Shudder. I believe this is a Shudder exclusive. That show is going to come out the day Halloween Kills comes out. Hot tip reminder, it's also on demand.
Peacock.
On the Peacock. And then the show the next week we'll be reviewing that because the scheduling wouldn't work out. So we're going to get to that. But yeah, that's our next 2 weeks, John. We can tell you the next 2 weeks. That's cool.
Titan eventually, because I need some support.
And you know what? If you're
Sheldon, have you seen that yet?
I've already asked him. He was like the first person I messaged. Like a maniac. I was like, hey, have you seen this?
If you're out there, I feel like our boy John here, John Schnorrs here, needs to get gassed up a little bit. So if you have compliments for John or just encouragement, he doesn't really use social media because he's 90. So email them to me and I will text them to him. And then I will send you back his response. How does that sound?
Eric will put it in a letter.
I have much more important things going on,
it.
but I'm willing to do this for John. For John's sake.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Let's
I'm here.
Let's pump him up here. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for this week's episode on Old. Truly hope you are enjoying your spooky season. We can't wait. A few more weeks left. We're gonna make the most of it. Don't forget patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror to get in on the Zoom meetup next week. The 5K. Lots of fun stuff going on at BGH. And yeah, that's gonna do it. We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye-bye.
So long.
Bye-bye.